Hello everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying your Christmas Eve. Today we're going to be looking at another winter storm that could be impacting parts of the central United States with about 3 to 5 inches of snowfall, and then some isolated areas getting closer to 6 to 12 plus inches of snowfall if what the models are showing right now will come to fruition. Now we are going to be looking at the European and Gfs model, and we're going to be kind of comparing them. Yesterday night they had completely different scenarios, but now they've kind of come to a median, and they've kind of come together and made one decision. There's a little bit of discrepancy though over parts of Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan as well, on where this heaviest snow is going to set up. Some models, or the Gfs model in particular, showing the heaviest snowfall to be right in the Arrowhead part of Minnesota, while the European model is kind of keeping it more broad with a general 6 inches of snowfall. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be kind of looking at the signs of it and kind of breaking it down for you. Now, before we do get into it, we are going to start off with the National Weather Service. We have winter weather advisories scattered across the Rockies, mainly in the higher elevations, where you could be picking up some snowfall later. Snowfall, nothing that's going to be too crazy. Winter storm watches over the mountains in Southern California, and then also a winter storm warnings in the southern mountains of California. And also another area of winter storm watches right here over parts of Washington. And then we have dense fog advisories in these grays, kind of dotted all across. We have one in the Ohio Valley, one over northern Montana, and one over central parts of California. Now, here is what the Gfs model is showing as far as its precipitation. Now, the GFS yesterday was showing a bit more of a crazy scenario. It was dumping a lot of snowfall, as well as the European. They were both dumping a lot of snowfall over the Southwest, on around a foot of snowfall in some areas, and then over the northern part of the U.S., the North-Central U.S., you were looking at closer to 12 inches of snow on the GFS and closer to nothing on the European. So they have come to a bit of agreement here, and now as we play this model one through, you'll kind of see how they agree and how they disagree. Now, this is your original low pressure. That's not the low pressure we're talking about. It's going to kind of move out of here, bring some snow to potentially northern New England, and then also into southern Canada. But what we're talking about here is this one. This system over Texas currently. This would be for Saturday, or this would be very late on Friday. Now, as we continue, this starts to move out into parts of Kansas, Nebraska, really the central most United States. And what you're going to notice is that yesterday we had this snowfall lasting for about a day over parts of the Southwest, especially in the European model. The GFS was also picking up on this, but now you see them attract this low pressure slightly more to the east, which leaves cities like Albuquerque, Denver, not seeing pretty much not seeing anything, and now areas in the central and northern U.S. seeing more like a foot. So they're kind of seeing what Albuquerque and Denver and Salt Lake City were seeing yesterday, but now its location is over parts of Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and really the central U.S. Now, as we continue and fast forward this a little bit more, you see really heavy snow is breaking out according to the GFS. Now, we can't really trust the GFS for banding, as it's not a mesoscale model. It's not one of those high resolution models. It doesn't pick up on banding too much. So if you live in this area, don't expect any banding. So if you're in one of these kind of obsolete pockets of really heavy snowfall, don't count on that happening. That's just probably an error with the model run, and you probably won't see it in the next model run. But this big band of snowfall over the Great Lakes, that's more likely to happen as it's more widespread and it's not really focused on banding too much. So this would be for Sunday or Saturday late night, and kind of moves out by Sunday morning, and heavier snowfall is approaching parts of the Great Lakes and into southern Canada by Monday morning, and then you see that wave of precipitation move out into the Atlantic by Tuesday morning. Now, here's how much snowfall you're expecting from the GFS, and you're seeing the GFS is dumping a good amount of snowfall over parts of the northern U.S. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, closer to 6 inches in that purple, and then in the pinks, you're closer to 10 to about I would say 18 inches. So parts of northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota also seeing a lot of snowfall. Now, this probably won't be most likely positioned in this exact area. We are still about 6 or 7 days out, 6 or 7 days out. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we can get a general idea that right now the model is trying to bring this somewhere through the central U.S. and really the thing that all the models have been agreeing on is this central part of the country not really seeing a lot of snowfall, seeing some light flurries, but it's quickly gonna turn to rain, and then the northernmost U.S. and the southwesternmost U.S. look to pick up the brunt of the snowfall from this. Now we are gonna look at the European model and what it's shown because it has a pretty similar scenario, but some differences here and there. Now, here's your original low pressure. This would be for Christmas Day, kind of moving out just over the Rockies. And then as this system moves onto California, you're going to see how it re-strengthens. So we'll bring this back. This is the difference that the European has. It has it moving on from California and then not diving down south and moving back in, as it moving pretty much straight north like this. So now, as we continue this, you're going to see it goes straight north, kind of separates its energy or kind of expands its energy. So now you have two separate areas of energy. You have one over the southwest, and that's where you're getting rain and snow. And then you have another one over Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, where you're also getting a rain and snow transition. Almost two low pressures forming. And you see, it's a very elongated system. You have snow to the north over Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, a little bit of North Dakota, and a little bit of Nebraska, and then you have a little bit of snow over Arizona and New Mexico. Now, as we continue this, you see the snow still coming down. This would be for Sunday or Saturday night, and now this is the big difference that the European has. It has a back edge of snowfall here, and you're gonna see it starts to strengthen a little bit as it continues. So this would be for Sunday night into Monday morning and Monday night. You see very heavy snowfall on the backside, which the GFS, if we go back to the GFS, you didn't see that at all. It was just rain and some isolated light to moderate snow showers. But with the European model, what you're seeing is a lot of heavy snowfall on the backside, and that would really eventually move all the way up through the East Coast and then off to shore. Now, here's what the European model is showing as far as snowfall is concerned, and you're seeing we have a good amount of snowfall over. We'll start over the southwest. You have about 5 to 6 inches of widespread over the southwest, and then over the northern U.S. you have another 3 to 5 inches, and then northern Minnesota, according to the European model, picking up 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. Now we can't say for sure that this is going to happen because the GFS and the European model are still not agreeing too much on this system, and you're seeing the European model really wanting to bring a lot of back edge snowfall over the Ohio Valley, which still would dump 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. So that's if the GFS is correct, you don't have any snowfall over these areas. If the European is correct, you have half a foot of snowfall. So it's a big difference, and it's a subtle change that makes a huge difference in the long run, according to the European. And you see, we have almost 12 inches in some of these areas, so a big deal with the system. Now, we're going to kind of break down what is happening here. So I look at this a lot. I look at where these low pressures are forming, and this is about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So this is showing you where you have high pressures and low pressures. High pressures are in the reds, the oranges, the browns, the whites, and then low pressures are in the greens and the blues. So you're seeing these low pressures move off. This is your low pressure. You have two. You have one just offshore of California, and then you have one offshore of Baja California. Now you're gonna see how these also, you have a ridging, you have high pressure over Wisconsin and really the Great Lakes. Now, you're going to see how we have this system really move down, forms one low pressure system. So now it's just one low pressure system, and you're going to see how it really tracks northward after this. Now, This low pressure, depending on its track, can really make a big difference. You see how it forms with another low pressure that's coming out all the way from Alaska. There's two low pressures that we're watching here. We have this one in the Gulf of Alaska, and then we have this one off the shore of California. Now, watch these two as this one in the north really comes down, separates from this this one higher up in the atmosphere, and you're seeing how it develops another low pressure by Saturday morning. So this is gonna lead to more snowfall on the back edge as you're kind of strengthening with two low pressure systems. So if there's no combining of the low pressure systems, you're not gonna have a big strong low pressure system like what the European is showing. But if you don't merge them, you're gonna have this weaker system like the Gfs is showing. And you see it rolls out into the northeast and then kind of loops back and back into the Arctic Circle. So that's kind of a breakdown of your forecast for this system. Kind of a complicated forecast, and there isn't a lot to talk about currently in the weather related. So we're kind of having to look a bit longer range, where we are going to have a bit more of an active pattern. I also released my January forecast yesterday, so if you do want to check that out, you can go watch that video. It has your temperature anomalies, precipitation anomalies, and all of that. So if you are interested in that, it is the video right before this one on my channel. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss a video when I upload. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.